Hello and welcome. My name is Jennifer Cassinson. I am the Vice President of Ambassador and Industry Partner Programs at BuildExact. Welcome to our webinar. We're thrilled to have Yaser Masoudnia here from BlueTape today. He's the CEO and co-founder, and I will give him a proper introduction when we get started. We're just going to wait for everyone to join us, and we'll give it just a minute so people can get in and get settled. So again, thanks for joining us today.
Fantastic.
Looks like we have people clicking in. Thanks for joining us. Like I said, we'll get started in just a minute as people get settled. Okay, I think it's that time. Hello again, and thanks for joining. My name is Jennifer Cassinson. I'm the ambassador. I'm the Vice President of Ambassador Programs for BuildExact, and I'm thrilled to have Yaser Masoudnia, who is the CEO and co-founder at BlueTape, is financial services for the industry. I'll let him tell you some more about BlueTape. I know that's part of the presentation, but he's here to talk to us about how to recession-proof your business. Which today is super important in the swings that we have in the marketplace. Actually, Yaser was just telling me that he was doing some revisions and had to be on top of this presentation with as many revisions he had to do because of the changing dynamics day to day of what we're kind of living through in the housing and remodeling industry. And Yaser comes to us as an expert because he is formerly a general contractor. So did you ever go through a time period like this before, Yaser?
So I've seen my parents and close friends of us gone through it. I was at the time of the previous recession. I was still at school, but we were seeing the result of it through the family business.
Yeah, well, again, thank you for being here. We're just honored to have you, and we're excited to see your presentation. Thanks to the audience for joining us. And to the audience, we're going to take questions as you have them. So if you just go into the chat and enter your questions, we'll take them just to keep the conversation going and lively and interesting and engaging. So anytime you have a question, just pop it in the chat. And over to you, Yaser. Thanks so much.
Fantastic. I want to make sure that you can see my screen. As Jennifer mentioned,
Yes.
I've been a general contractor for the past 13 years. Our family business have been involved in construction for a very long time, and in our family, extended family, we also and friends we have. I've seen a lot of businesses going through different phases of the economic cycles and circumstances, and hopefully on this one we're going to all come out very strong, and we've learned something about our business, and we will find and explore new opportunities. With that, let us start. I want to start with where we are today. I'm sure we all felt the inflation in the past year. Inflation is about 5% higher than last year now, and housing remains the main drive for inflation today. We're still dealing with a supply chain disruption that is a result of COVID-19 and also war in Ukraine, and there are many reasons behind the labor shortage that we've been experiencing in the past few years. Great resignation that happened, aging workforce, or wage competition, and fewer immigrants that are in the country are named as some of the reasons behind it. And obviously now in construction space, we need to improve our working environment. Obviously, we need to be more competitive in terms of wage and salaries to be able to bring required workforce to the work environment. Alongside of that, we are also experiencing credit crunch. There are higher interest rate. We're expecting the economic slowdown, and falloff from regional bank like SVB and First Republic has already created a situation that a lot of banks are dotting their I's and crossing their T's before extending credit, additional credit to their customers. And as a result of that, the situation we are in, we see the banks are dealing with declining deposit and declining cash in their account, in their customers' account. That will results in less access to cheap funds for them, and obviously it's going to be harder for borrower businesses and consumer to borrow from those banks. According to Router and Market Watch, we expect the credit crunch the credit crunch has already started, and it's going to continue in the next few months. And NAHB data also shows that we are going to face a significant, or in some areas at least significant, reduction in the value of housing, and that has been happening in past 3 quarters. We are dealing with an uncertainty in the market, and there are maybe few things that we are certain about in this market. One is high interest rates are here to stay. There are some models that predict economic downturn and a slowdown will result in the situation that Fed will think about slowing down or bringing or cutting the interest rates. But there are some models that are predicting that's not going to happen in the next few months, and even we might have an increase in the rate in the next few months. Anyway, what direction that goes, we're going to deal with high interest rate. And as a result of that, and as a result of the issues with the regional banks, we are going to deal with credit crunch. As we mentioned, it's going to be harder for the businesses and consumer to borrow. And there is a recent survey by Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas that shows sizable shares of banks are now making it harder for their customer to borrow, and they have more strict credit policies in place. We discussed this inflation and wages that are around, and with employment continue to be strong, we can expect that the salaries are not going to be declining, and we have to deal with our inflation and wage situation that we have. On the last point that we are very certain about is low inventory in the market, and that's partly as a result of a millennial being at the age that they want to buy houses, and they primarily want to buy single family houses, and Americans love to buy their single family houses. But on the other hand, we are seeing the homeowners who got basically they bought a house or refinanced their mortgages at 2 to 3% rate. They are not going to come to market to sell their houses because there's no way that they can get interest rate close to that. So given the situation we are in, we wanted to know what do we need to do to recession-proof our business, and that starts with assess our businesses, assess the market we are in, and plan for that. So because obviously, if we don't know what situation we are in, we cannot plan accordingly. With that, we will start with, any of businesses that we are in construction, whether it's general contractor or subcontractor or dealer or manufacturers, we want to think about first at where are the opportunities in our market. If we are a regional business and we are not selling national-wide, where are the opportunities in our geographic market? And are we prepared to go after those opportunities? The next question that we wanted to ask is, where are the risks? We are still not seeing there has been a massive slowdown in terms of the number of new building permits that have been issued or submitted in past few months. But a lot of builders and a lot of suppliers and a lot of contractors are still not experiencing that because they've been dealing with the long delayed in their projects and backlog that they needed to address in past few months. But now that these numbers are declining in the next few months, there's going to be a smaller number of new projects or new construction projects that are going to start. And that varies from environment and market to market. But generally speaking, we are seeing the slowdown across the country. And you wanted to evaluate that and see what it means for your geographic market. And then after that, you want to start taking a look at your books and see what books are saying. How is the cash flow situation? How is your cash conversion cycle that I'm going to spend a good amount of time today and dig in and talk about the importance of that. And those are the items we want to focus, make sure we are financially viable businesses that we can go through this economic downturn and come out of it strong. When we look at our books, we want to look at our weaknesses. We want to see how we can address that. And one other more important item is our team. Is our team able to address those challenges, whatever coming up? And we're going to discuss about the importance of our team being ready. And then the last part is, do we have the right tools? Do we have the right partners to help us to come out of this economic downturn or whatever that is coming up next? With that, I think one of the first items that I had in previous slide was our customers, our pipeline. Are we getting our pipeline from new construction projects? Are those more single families? Are those more of multi-units? Are those more commercial? We see that, for instance, big portion of dealers today, I mentioned that they are not feeling this slowdown for single family construction because their builders and contractors are still working off of the big backlog that they've had. But year over year, single family permits are down in 334 metropolitan statistic or area of 384 that are out there. And in more than 200 of those areas, those permits are down more than 30%. And when we look at commercial projects and multifamily project, we see that in certain market, this number is looking reverse, and the permits for multifamilies in 134 metropolitan area are increasing, and that's good news and good new opportunities on those market for multifamilies and commercial contractors. So when we look at this and we look at our customers, we wanted to know, where are we getting our business? Are there any new opportunities that we can go after? And do we have any concentration? Do we have any concentration of the business or customer in a specific area? And just diversification is what's going to help us to come out of this economic downturn strong. And one of the items that it's going to secure your business throughout the economic downturn is your relationship with your customers. And what do you need to do to strengthen your relationship with your customers? What are you doing best that they are working with you? So you want to probably to focus on what you're doing best and see where else you can get help around the risk, around the weakness of the business from other partners, from other solutions. So you'll stay focused on what you're good at. There is a general rule of thumb that if you focus on margin, and your product and services that drive the profit margin for your business, you're going to over time, you're going to be a successful business. And that is more important in uncertain market and in economic downturn. And but we can't always just focus on high margin. There are often, for some businesses, that lower margin projects or lower margin product and services are those that are driving the customers through the door. And then after that, you have opportunity to sell them more product and services that have a higher profit and margin. And those are the evaluation that you wanted to do for your products, your services, where you work and what geographic market you're in. I'm sure you all heard basically calling of cash is king, and cash is king, even more king in economic uncertainty and downturn. And I'm sure you've heard that a lot of businesses that have fall or they went out of business in previous recession, it wasn't because they were not making revenue or significant, they lost big portion of their revenue. A lot of it was a result of the cash flow problems and losing their cash flow. And one of the elements that we see, people talk less about it, and businesses are often are affected by it, is cash conversion cycle. That's the function of three elements: days inventory outstanding, days sales outstanding, and days payable outstanding. A good cash conversion cycle is a short one. If your cash conversion cycle is low, or better, if it's negative, that means your business working capital is not tight for long term, and you are good business in terms of having a great liquidity, and that will be helpful in recession environment. That doesn't mean that you need to stash a lot of cash to be able to go through that and be successful. It means that you're more efficient with your cash flow and working capital. And there are ways that you can play with your days sales outstanding, days inventory outstanding, and days payable outstanding that I'm going to continue in in the next slides talking about those. You can negotiate with your account payables and your vendors to have more time to pay them. You can take advantage of trade credit. You can have different methods in place to make sure you get paid fast, and you're going to be your priority for your customer to pay you fast. And also look into inventory and how you can manage your inventory. So when we talk about days sales outstanding specifically, we want to focus and monitor our account receivables. Is there a great group of customers? We want to know if there is a great group of your customers that can take your business hostage. I mean, what do I mean by that? If you're working with a smaller number of project businesses, or if you are a dealer, for instance, you're selling to a smaller number of contractors who basically provide a bigger portion of your revenue, then if there is anything that goes wrong with their business, that's going to affect your business as well. The risk of their business is the risk of your business too. So that's one thing that you wanted to be aware of. You want to make sure you're being paid by them, you're being paid fast by those customers, and you want to make sure, can you bring some other customers on board that you basically de-risk your revenue or account receivable. One thing that we see in construction space, a lot of contractors, a lot of businesses are relying on extending credit to their customer, and that is true throughout the supply chain. If we start from manufacturers to distributors, dealers, general contractor, and subcontractors, we can see that through the supply chain. And as a result of that, we see that there are opportunities that you can take advantage of trade credit, third-party trade credit. You can take advantage of using AR automation solution. You can take advantage of partners who provide trade credit, and this way you can de-risk your business. Jennifer, I saw that you came back. I
Yeah.
thought
Thank you.
probably.
And so I have a quick question. So how can people feel, how should people feel about the stability of local banks with all of the things that have happened in the last, I would say, 9 months with the banking industry?
So that is a great question, and some part of it, it's around how do you manage your it should be around how do you manage your cash at the bank. There are certain level, I'm sure we've all heard that in past few months, there are certain level of the cash that is secured by FDIC. There are certain product of a banking product that I don't have it here in our slides to go through that. It could be a great topic. We can talk about how to manage your relationship with your banks and your creditors and people that you want to get credit from. And that's around different banking product you can leverage, you can set up multiple accounts and reduce your risk or bring down your deposit across the accounts to the level that is secured by FDIC. So happy to answer any follow-up question on that as well. But that could be a big topic for itself that we can spend hours to talk about. So we talk about days sales outstanding, credit, extended credit to the customers. And we also wanted to talk about on the other side of it, when your relationship with your vendors. It's time to review some of those contracts and look at those contracts and see, is there anywhere to negotiate the term? Or at least, is there any way to get more time with your account payable? And that's a touchy topic for a lot of businesses because that will ultimately affect your relationship with your vendors. It could affect your discount rate. It could affect how they prioritize your business when you need material on time. So those are the items you wanted to consider carefully. Have a conversation with your vendors, see if they can provide you trade credit, see if they can provide you extended trade credit, see if you can leverage third-party trade credit so you'll have more flexibility to pay your account payables while your vendor gets paid upfront. And that's going to serve both parties in terms of their relationship and in terms of their cash flow. Sometimes you need to consider new vendors. You need to evaluate your business and see where are the risks, where do you see the risk, and is there any way you can get insurance to cover those risks. And one of those things, going back around insurance, I think I had in previous slide, that with account receivable, there are opportunities that you can get trade credit insurance to be able to secure your revenue, make sure you're going to get paid. And next item here, again, we're going to touch base on banking and banking relationship and financing. We need to be smart about it. We are not today, luckily, a lot of businesses in construction are not limited to regional banks and conventional bank. There are a wide range of options that they can use, from business loans to line of credits that are not basically from conventional banks. You can leverage those, but you wanted to think up front. You want to do those, secure those line of credit, for instance, ahead of time, when the business is performing well and you still have a great cash flow. You want to build your relationship so that banks or that credit provider can support you when you need that, and have it in place when you need that. If often these products take time to get pre-qualified for, get approved for. So think ahead, plan for it, try to understand the details of it, what it means to take advantage of it, what it means in terms of the cost and fees, and what are the timeline for paying those back. We are getting to exciting part of this conversation, and one of those exciting parts is around the team. We need, as a team, we need our business to get ready and make sure they all understand the risk they're dealing with and where do you want to focus. If they understand your goal, your sales team, your account receivable team, and if they have the right training and they are ready to deal what is coming up next, then they can be successful in terms of dealing with that. We want to make sure our account receivables know how to deal with unpaid invoices, bankruptcies, and working with the customers who have difficulties to pay you. You want to make sure your sales team are ready to go after the customer and the projects that you wanted to work on, or if you wanted to diversify your customer base or projects that you're working on, your sales team understand the requirements of that and going basically being able to tackle those markets and projects. And today, I'm sure you all have heard there is an app for that, and there's an app for almost everything. And we're seeing that in construction. So you probably, while you're training your team, while you are making sure they're ready to deal with whatever is coming up, you want to make sure that they have the tools in place to do their work more efficiently, and adopt basically one of those with adopting technologies and the applications that are available, and make sure that your team is able to do their daily work more efficiently. One of those, for instance, Builder X is one of those solutions that you can right now use for your takeoff and do your estimation more accurately. There are a lot of automation, AR and AP in place that you can leverage those. And with those, not only you free some resources, you're able to be more productive businesses. And lastly, we are coming to the point of using partners. There are a lot of partners in different places that you can leverage to make sure your efficient business, especially in a hard time. And then you can focus on doing what you do best. So I'm basically done with the points. I'm just quick introduction of also BlueTape. BlueTape is the AR and AP automation and trade credit provider. And our product is basically built to make sure the businesses, contractors, dealers, manufacturers, shops, and everyone is ready for anything that's coming up next. And could be a growth, could be significant growth, could be economic downturn. You want to make sure that you have locked down the credit. So when there are slow payers among your customers, you're able to continue to operate, and you are able to continue to operate more effectively, and take less risk, and get ready to even sell more when times are harder. Any question?
Yaser, that was fantastic. I will give people just a minute to type their questions in, but I don't see any outstanding at the moment. And thank you for answering my question about the banks, because that continues to be a conversation. Last week, I was at the National Association of Home Builders Spring Leadership Conference, and Robert Dietz was presenting. And so he was talking about, what he thinks will happen with the Fed and interest rates. And he thinks that there might be another hike in the summertime. and then an adjustment early in 2024. And I know everybody's kind of closely watching that. Do you know, like in terms of sentiment of your customers, how they're feeling and what kind of pipeline they have?
So in terms of their sales cost, we are seeing it's very regional. We are seeing there are areas that single families or projects are continuing to grow, and even dealers and contractors are going to continue to be busy throughout the next year. And there are markets that it reverts in terms of commercial project or multi-units or remodeling multi-units. So it's hard to address that question in general for the whole country, but things are trending slower, generally speaking, for single families projects, especially if they are new construction. And in certain market, things are looking better when we are talking about infrastructure projects, when we are talking about commercial project or multi-unit projects.
Well, awesome. Thank you again for all of your expertise and knowledge. This is super helpful. Just one more time, tell people where and how to get a hold of you and your team.
Definitely. So they can go to BlueTape.com, and from there they can contact us, and we are available on social media and also on the BlueTape.com website.
Awesome. Thank you, Yaser. And thanks everybody for joining us today.
Thank you, everybody.
Stay well.